Aleph Bet, the Hebrew alphabet, starts with an Aleph, the one, the first, and ends with a TAV, the last. So first and last makes reference, among other things, to the first and last letter of the alphabet. That's why in Greek they decided to put alpha and omega. However, it is Aleph and Bet, Aleph and Tav. I'm sorry. Aleph and Tav are the two letters, first and last. Aleph and Tav. Aleph and Tav, when we make it a word, is pronounced et. So Aleph and Tav is the word that doesn't have a translation to other languages, and that we find before heavens and before earth. So what does that mean? That before Yahweh created the heavens and the earth, he procreated, or he through the Spirit, as the mother, gave birth to the first and the last, the Aleph and the Tav, to the Aleph Bet, so that through the Aleph Bet he could create everything which was created through a word, for which you need letters. So in the beginning Elohim created first and last, and through them he made the heavens, and first and last, and through them he made the earth. And as we will see eventually, the first, Yahweh as the first, came to save and connect earth to heaven. Bring it up. It depends on how you see it. For now, I'll just say it like that. While the second coming is to bring heaven down, so that heaven and earth become one reality. There will still remain a separation, but there will be unity in all realities, and that's why first and last will become one, as we will also see in Ezekiel 37, in Zechariah, when Yahweh said, "In that day I will be one, and my name one." Since Yahweh says that, is because for a while he wasn't one, even though Deuteronomy says that he is one. So he remained separate as one, but when he made creation, he manifested as two. And that manifestation, once this creation is done with, since it's temporal, once it's finished, Yahweh will become one again. So I am he. I am the first. I am also the last. If we go to Isaiah 44:6, we find something very similar. Thus says Yahweh, the King of Israel, the King of the few. Yahweh, who's coming as the King David, because he came 2,000 years ago as the high priest. Now he's coming as king. So thus says Yahweh, the King of Israel and his Redeemer. The King of Israel and his Redeemer, meaning the last and the first, because the King of Israel is the second coming. The Redeemer is the first coming, because he redeemed us of our sins. It could also be said the second coming is as Moshe, and Moshe redeemed the people from the slavery. So in that sense, it will happen with the second coming also, Moshe as a redeemer. But the only way that Moshe can redeem is through Yahushua. Just as Moshe needed a scepter when he went and did everything, that scepter representing the name of the Son. So thus says Yahweh, the King of Israel and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts, I am the first and I am the last. That's simple. I am the first and I am the last. He's telling the people, do not forget it. I am the first, I am also the last. Don't get focused only on the first. Don't get focused only on the last, because you will get lost. I say that because that is exactly what happened and is happening and will happen. 2,000 years ago, the Jewish people, and I say Jewish because most of them were already fake, and I mean Esau had already entered when Messiah came to earth and infiltrated Judaism. And, well, the Yahudim also had a lot to do with it, so it's not like they did it in a hidden way. But anyways, when Yahushua came, the Yahudim, the Jewish people, were expecting the second coming, meaning they were expecting the last and the first appear. So they did not recognize him because they did not understand the prophecies of the first coming. They only understood the prophecies of the second coming. So they were expecting a lion, yet they received a lamb. So they killed the lamb on Pesach, because that's what they do on Pesach. They didn't recognize that he is Messiah, whom Yahweh promised, the first. They were expecting the last. Now Christians are expecting the first. They are expecting the lamb. However, a lion will appear. So they will not recognize him, and they will think that he is too loud, too angry, fights too much, or whatever a person would say of a lion. So Yahushua appears as a lamb. They were expecting a lion, so they killed him. Now the last, Yahweh, will appear on earth as a lion, but people are expecting a lamb, so they will kill him. That's why Yahweh says, I am the first and I am the last. I am the lamb and I am the lion. Receive both, not just one. Because if you receive one, like, for instance, people who claim to be Christians, yet do not follow the Messiah, do not follow the commandments, do not read scriptures, all of that. Those who have a fake faith, they claim to believe in Messiah. They claim, well, Christ, as they call him, Jesus or whatever, and they are focused on the first coming, according to them, because that's all they know, as they were taught. They are not expecting a second coming as the first. They are only expecting either to disappear or to see him coming on the clouds and then disappear. Either way, he won't be walking the earth, according to their doctrine. So they only think of the first. So when the false Messiah appears, and he will do it in a Hollywood type of way, when the false Messiah appears, those people with fake faith will see him and say, that's it, that's what I've been waiting for, woo, and will accept it and go towards it. That's why Messiah said, when they tell you, here's the Messiah, or he is there, run the other way. So, on the other hand, the Jewish people were focused on the last, and that's why they killed the first, because they were too focused on the last. They were too focused on judgment, on punishment. They wanted Rome to die, so they were focused on that. And when Messiah came to give mercy, they were like, what is this? We don't want that. Now people think they have misunderstood mercy a lot, unfortunately, society mainly. So now that the second coming comes to judge, while everybody in the world says you should not judge, misinterpreting Messiah, when the second coming comes to judge, people will say, who are you to judge? Who are you to tell us these things? Just like when Moshe was chosen and he went to his people and his people told him, who made you our judge? Who are you? That is the same thing that will happen with the second coming. So Yahweh says in Isaiah 44:6, I am the first and I am the last. Besides me, there is no Elohim. Besides me, one, singular, me. There is no Elohim, im, plural in Hebrew. So besides me, there is no mighty ones. This is amazing because he's saying that he who is one manifested as two. That's why singular becomes plural. Me, Elohim. I am the first and the last. I hope that's clear. And that's why Elohim, we see that asks in Genesis if he should make man in his image and likeness. Well, not asks, says basically, but the point is that he's talking to somebody in Genesis. And there are many ways to interpret that, but the one that we'll focus on right now is Yahweh speaking to Messiah. First speaking to last.